Good evening and welcome to the news at 8. We are live from Pocket Hill Studios in Harare. I'm Joyce Mabika.
And I am Yvonne Mukondani. Noble Maungwa gives us the bulletin in sign language. These are the stories we're leading with tonight.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa declares Mnenja bus accident a state of disaster.
The accident claimed 11 lives in South Africa on Friday.
In business, Zimbabwe's exports to Zambia hit over 70 million United States dollars.
And in sport, Moors hold Scotland in an exciting PSL match at Rufaro. That and more in sport.
We'll now give you the news in detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa has declared a state of disaster following the Mnenja bus accident in South Africa that killed 11 people on Friday.
The crash occurred in Tromsburg, Free State Province, and was declared a disaster under Section 27 of the Civil Protection Act.
The bus was traveling from Cape Town to Harare when it was involved in the crash.
According to the Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, the accident claimed the lives of 11 Zimbabweans, comprising 1 male adult, 5 female adults, and 5 children.
Several passengers were injured and are receiving treatment at Pelonomi and Universitas hospitals in Bloemfontein.
The declaration of a state of disaster enables government to mobilize resources and coordinate emergency interventions, including the repatriation of the deceased, assistance for injured, and humanitarian support for affected families.
President Mnangagwa has conveyed his deepest condolences to the bereaved families and wished those injured a speedy and full recovery.
Government has also commended the South African authorities, emergency services, healthcare workers, and officials from Zimbabwe's embassy and consulate for their swift response and continued support.
The Civil Protection Department, working together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Zimbabwe's diplomatic mission in South Africa, and other stakeholders, has been directed to coordinate all interventions, including the repatriation of the deceased and assistance to injured survivors.
Government says it will continue to keep the nation informed as further verified information becomes available.
The cremated remains of national hero Professor Herbert Mafumo Chinyanga have been interred at Etosha Cemetery in Goromonzi District, Mashonaland East Province. Professor Chinyanga died on the 2nd of July in South Africa.
Family members, government officials, colleagues, former students and members of the medical fraternity this Saturday gathered at Etosha Cemetery in Goromonzi District, Mashonaland East Province to bid farewell to national hero Professor Herbert Mafumo Chinyanga, a medical pioneer whose contribution helped shape a modern healthcare and specialist medical training in Zimbabwe. Professor Chinyanga was cremated after he died in South Africa, and his ashes have been interred at Etosha Cemetery in Goromonzi. Mashonaland East Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Advocate Itai Ndudzo, officiated at the burial in Goromonzi.
When President Emmerson Mnangagwa conferred national hero status on Professor Chinyanga, Zimbabwe witnessed more than a posthumous honor. We saw the recognition of the fact that heroism in Zimbabwe is not restricted to those who carried arms, but it also belongs to those who wield courage within different spheres and those who have committed and have given their life to the service of our motherland, Zimbabwe. We acknowledge with honor that the late Professor Herbert Mafumo Chinyanga, the country's first black anesthesist, as described in the tribute given by His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, left his life of comfort and better privileges to return after independence to help build Zimbabwe's medical profession and training infrastructure.
The family described Professor Chinyanga as a devoted mentor, educator and servant leader whose greatest passion was empowering others through education.
Kudzoka kwawakaita kubva kuCanada kwanga kuri kuti inini nyika yedu yabva kuita independence. Regai ndiuyo nditi zvese zvandakadzidza inini vadzidzewo kubva kwandiri zviri kuitwawo mhiri kwemakungwa.
In terms of getting the national hero status, we are thrilled as a family. It's something that I feel he would have loved, knowing him. He worked hard for many years, and one of the things that characterized him was servant leadership.
He was a person who was very hardworking, and he tried to ensure that the rest of the family did the same, hardworking, educated, and to give back to society.
Colleagues from the medical fraternity credited Professor Chinyanga with laying the foundation for specialist anesthesia training in Zimbabwe.
He is one of those clinicians, top-notch clinicians who, when he scaled down on his clinical practice, he came to the Department of Physiology, where he helped us because the number of teachers had gone down, but he helped us to teach medical students, pharmacy, nursing science. He actually specialized in teaching neurophysiology.
He was a great teacher. He was a great leader. This man did a lot more for this country and for the health services.
At the burial of National Hero Major General retired Richard Ruodo at the National Hero Circle several weeks ago, President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa paid tribute to Professor Herbert Chinyanga, describing him as a patriot whose lifelong service advanced specialist medicine, medical education, and Zimbabwe's healthcare system.
We recognize and honor the late national hero, Professor Herbert Mapfumo Chinyanga, who passed on in South Africa on 2nd July 2026 at the age of 86. The life history of the late Professor Chinyanga is an epitaph of patriotism, integrity and humility, professional excellency and a selfless service. He was a towering national and pioneering physician whose lifelong service helped to transform the specialization of anesthesia, advanced medical education, and strengthened Zimbabwe's healthcare system in our country. After independence, the late Professor Chinyanga made a bold and defining decision that would forever shape Zimbabwe's medical history. He voluntarily left behind the prestige and opportunities of the developed world to come home to serve his country.
Widely regarded as the father of anesthesia in Zimbabwe, Professor Chinyanga returned from Canada in 1985 and established the country's postgraduate anesthesia training program, laying the foundation for specialist anesthesia training and helping build local medical expertise.
Fire! 3, fire! 2, 3, fire!
John Nandara, ZBC News, Goromonzi.
Zimbabwe's mining sector continues to strengthen industrial and economic linkages while creating business opportunities for local companies, including small and medium enterprises, as demonstrated by the successful conclusion of the MineEntra 2026 in Bulawayo.
The 2026 MineEntra exhibition concluded with the presentation of awards to outstanding exhibitors in various categories, highlighting the quality of the displays and the event's growing international appeal as Zimbabwe's mining sector continues to attract global investment. Local company National Cranes and Equipment was recognized for exhibiting Africa's largest mobile crane, while South African firm GE Monitoring Systems received an award for its innovative technologies targeting Zimbabwe's expanding lithium industry.
We are going to support all the miners from small scale to big mines for value addition. This trophy is for Zimbabwe.
Can replicate these 2.56 million use cases with just 2 sensors per year for lithium sulfate as well.
And in all of the plants that you guys are currently building and in your gold plants as well. So what we want to do is get this into all the plants that we possibly can to get the dosing corrected from a 4-hour window to a 15-minute window.
The exhibition also provided a platform for small and medium-sized enterprises to forge partnerships with major mining companies, manufacturers of industrial safety wear and suppliers of mining equipment say they have immensely benefited from the exhibition.
If you go to the mine, you will not be able to see the engineer and speak to him like for 30 minutes or whatever time, but when they come here for Mine Entra, you'll be able to talk more, discuss and open new opportunities.
We discussed their requirements with regard to safety needs. Of course, we cannot talk of a prosperous economy without talking of the safety needs of the workforce.
Meanwhile, in a move aimed at positioning Zimbabwe as a major player in the global lithium value chain, government has announced that from January 2027, the country will only export lithium sulfate to promote value addition and beneficiation.
It is my expectation that by January 27, Zimbabwe will only export lithium sulfate. To ease that transition, the government has put in place an orderly quota arrangement so that no responsible operator shuts down. This will allow the revenue earned today to help build the processing and beneficiation plans of tomorrow. So far, I am pleased with the remarkable progress being made in the lithium sub-sector. In April 2026, Prospect Lithium, Zimbabwe, for those who don't know it, it's in Goromonzi, dispatched the first ever export locally produced lithium sulfate.
The 2026 Mine Entra also demonstrated Zimbabwe's growing capacity to reduce imports of mining equipment. Industry players say the commissioning of the Manise iron and steel plant is expected to provide local manufacturers with the range of steel products required to produce mining equipment domestically. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Meanwhile, Zimbabwe's 3-day mining, engineering and transport exhibition ended this Friday, with exhibitors expressing delight at the number of business deals clinched on site, as well as prospective leads they secured.
After 3 days of exhibitions and deal-making and high-level symposiums, Bulawayo has wrapped up Zimbabwe's premier mining, engineering and transport expo, with the showcase having attracted over 270 exhibitors from 8 countries. Local business players such as Mr. Laston Moreira, a player in the transport industry, managed to clinch working business deals worth over 10,000 United States dollars.
We've actually managed to clink some very good deals with very big companies here. It was nice coming here. We wouldn't have met all the suppliers and the customers which we got here had it not been for Mine Entra.
The exhibition also provided a platform for local exhibitors to showcase Zimbabwe's potential in the mining sector and to position the country as a key player in regional value chains.
We would like to thank the organizers for this wonderful show that has given us that platform to showcase what we can do as Zimbabweans.
Tawana exposure enti tasangana nevanhu vanovare interest yokushanda nesu.
We are showcasing how we are transforming mining through the industrial Internet of Things.
Small to medium enterprises in mining equipment, transport and engineering said the face-to-face interactions with buyers and investors have opened doors for supply contracts that were previously out of reach.
Being able to interact with a potential client base like engineers, miners has given us a very big opportunity and a big presence in terms of being known.
We've managed to meet even Fidelity to do our things as the mantra that says
on the international front, the exhibition has strengthened Zimbabwe's image as a regional hub for mining and engineering trade.
We're very excited about the prospect of Terra Gear joining Bird Machines in expanding our product footprint in Southern Africa.
We have attended to discuss lithium and gold processing, which seems to be improving, especially with the new legislation. Mine entries obviously improved exposure.
Both local and international participants agree the exhibition has delivered tangible benefits. Lisa Correra, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
The government says tackling the scourge of drug and substance abuse requires a whole-of-society approach with stronger community partnerships and expanded rehabilitation services to address the social ill that threatens national development.
Government officials, community leaders and stakeholders gathered in Marondera for an interface meeting aimed at strengthening efforts to combat drug and substance abuse through greater community participation. Delegates then told the Marondera Rehabilitation Center, a former Kasipiti Bear converted into a treatment facility where a recovering client shared how addiction disrupted his education, strained family ties and nearly cost him his life.
Ndakanwa tumbwa zvakanyanya tokandiaffecta tokandikanganisa endanisisina simba. I still remember some point imwe nguva ndakamborutsa ropa tiri kurikavha hangu asi mumwoyo mangu ndikurwadziwa ndine heartbreak. Ko kuzota amai vangu vakaupa ndakauya pano ndakauya navo ende zvakandirwadza that day ndakaona mama wangu achichema inini vakanditarisa vakachema vakanditarisa.
Mashonaland East Province revealed plans to replicate the rehabilitation model in Marondera across all 9 districts.
Is directed by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, to uproot and eradicate the scourge of drugs and substance abuse. We have a big responsibility as Mashonaland East Province to lead the way.
Government ministers said communities, families, schools, churches and law enforcement agencies all have a role to play in tackling the growing challenge.
We would want to thank His Excellency the President, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa, for coming up with a response mechanism which he assigned to the task force to ensure that as we are dealing with the scourge in the country, no place and no one is left behind. So we are happy with the kind of progress that we've just witnessed here in Mashonaland East Province.
Takasvikirwa nedambudziko reCovid, tikabatana tikarirwisa, tikasvikirwa nematambudziko ese zvimwe zvirwere tikaarwisa. Ichi drug abuse and substance abuse ngatibatanei tigochirwisa tigosvika kuvision 2030 tiri vatano.
Representing the chairperson of the National Committee on Drug and Substance Abuse, Defense Minister Comrade Opam Chungurikashiri, the Minister of Home Affairs and Cultural Heritage Honorable Kazembe Kazembe described drug and substance abuse as a growing threat to national security, public health and economic development.
This challenge is now a national threat. Haisarudze kuti zviri kwaningi. Ndachitaura kubriefing kuti madrugs ato threat kutopfuura chirwere cheshura matongo. Covid yakauya ikapera ikamanejwa. Iyi yato threat nyowani yemadrugs. We must treat it with the seriousness that it deserves. All of us as Zimbabweans.
The ministerial delegation handed over bags of rice to the Marondera Rehabilitation Center to support recovering clients. Junior parliamentarians also received communication gadgets to strengthen awareness campaigns on drug and substance abuse among young people. Kenya Sivushe, ZBC News, Marondera.
Baradzanwa Cultural Village has become a living classroom where Zimbabwe's cultural heritage is being passed on to the younger generation, particularly Ama2K, at a time concerns over the erosion of traditional values continue to grow.
It is a bright morning as an army of learners, clad in red shirts and caps, descends on the scenic surroundings of Baradzanwa Cultural Village in Mazoe district. The tranquility of the landscape is soon broken by the sound of traditional drums as the Baradzanwa Cultural Ensemble bursts into song and dance, giving the young visitors a vibrant Zimbabwean welcome. Beyond the colorful performances, each song carries a lesson, with learners discovering the meanings and values embedded in traditional music.
Kana tichitamba zvotoita kana pakati panapa pachinyakare chedu pachishona toti wapinda mudariro. Wapinda pai? Mudariro. Sa muri kwamazivisa ndo yati kana yapinda mudariro. Yatamba inonzi wauya iyi. Yasvetsera kunzi inonzi mazivisa. Saka chako chiti chigutiro tamba wakaguta chigutiro. Chigutiro tamba wakaguta chigutiro.
The cultural immersion continues with a refreshing welcome drink of traditional maheu made from baobab fruit, infused with milk. The learning journey then moves to Amai's kitchen, where curiosity replaces surprise as learners encounter traditional cooking utensils and clay pots that once formed the heart of every rural home.
Tsamba codes inobikirwa sadza. Vatadzidza zvana duri nemutswi neguyo nehuyo. Andadzidza kuti vasikana vanogara sei. Kana tichibika sadza tobikira mutsamba codes. Kana tichibika usavi tobikira muhadyana. Ndadzidza nezvehari dzinoshandiswa kubika zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana. Ndafara hari inonzi tsamba codes nenyoti inobikirwa uyu inobikirwa sadza.
Traditional games such as nodo and pada, together with encounters with domestic animals, including rabbits, offer learners a glimpse into how children of yesteryear entertained themselves.
Patasvika pano tasvika nekutambirwa nemutambo yakasiyana siyana inosanganisira mhande, bhakumba, muchongoyo. Nhasi ndadzidza kuti vanhu vanorarama vachiita zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana, vachiita zvekurima, vachiita zvekuveza. Tadzidza mutambo yakasiyana siyana inosanganisira nhodo, pada. Chandafarira pabaradzanwa ndafarira hari dzatadzidza. Ini zvandadzidza pano pabaradzanwa Cultural Village ndadzidza madance aitwa kare, indigenous arts and indigenous games. And zvandasingaziva ndezvekuti tsuro nembira zvakaita kakusiyana. And ndazozvidzidza zvanhasi.
Deputy Head of St. Aidan's Primary School, Mrs. Mo Blessing Jongwe, says such educational visits complement the heritage-based curriculum by giving learners a practical appreciation of Zimbabwe's identity and cultural heritage.
We are here at Baradzanwa Cultural Center, mainly because we scouted for a place where we can get a lot of information or a lot of knowledge with regards, which is in line with the heritage-based curriculum. Since Baradzanwa is a cultural center with a historical relevance as well, we chose it so that we come here with our learners. Our school is situated in Stungwiza, which is an urban setup. So we thought of taking our learners away from that setup to a cultural area where they can actually appreciate our cultural values, our cultural heritage, our cultural Shona customs, traditions, as well as appreciate their own identity as Shona people.
Member of the Baradzanwa Cultural Ensemble, Stuart Mudadi, believes traditional upbringing kept children meaningfully occupied, instilling discipline and reducing the likelihood of social ills such as drug and substance abuse.
Tine mabasa achaita muchivanhu ekuti mwana mukomana aiziya basa rake. Ukaziva kuti ndiri mwana mukomana ndinofanira kushanda. Panovira zuva ndinofanira kudzoka ndakabata chimwe chinhu kumba. Handifunga kuti uchaona nguva yekuswera chaga zvinokudhaka. Nekuti paunoziva kuti pandinodzokera zuva ranyuwa ndofanira kudzokera nechimwe chinhu. Mukatarisa kana kumamisha chaiko, mwana mukomana vamwe vaifamba nendandi yekuti achiona aipfura shiri. Kuziva kuti pandinodzokera kumba ndofanira kudzokera ndine usavi hwekubikisa. Saka ndo zvimwe zvaidzidziswa vana pachinyakare chedu nekukura kwedu nevadzimiri. Kuti aiziva kuti kana ndoenda kumba handingoende ndisina chandakabata, nekugona kutendwa kwaantu nevabereki.
Baradzanwa Cultural Village is the brainchild of the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who has championed the preservation of Zimbabwe's cultural heritage, the promotion of traditional values, and the consumption of indigenous foods that contribute to healthy living. The traditional tour ends on a flavorful note as learners sample traditional African cuisine before taking part in recreational activities, an experience that extends learning beyond the classroom and nurtures well-rounded learners who appreciate both academic knowledge and the cultural heritage that defines them. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mazowe.
Government has reaffirmed its commitment to supporting survivors of natural disasters at a time when disaster recovery projects in Chimanimani have turned into a source of comfort.
High-level government monitoring of post-disaster recovery in Chimanimani took place this Friday as Special Advisor to the President for Monitoring and Implementation of Government Programs and Projects, Dr. Joram Gumbo, embarked on an assessment tour of several key developments in the area. The tour was aimed at assessing how government-led infrastructure development projects have transformed lives in communities affected by Cyclone Idai. The projects include modern residential housing at Runyararo, a new clinic, and a primary school. Dr. Gumbo assured the community that government remains committed to restoring dignity and safety to survivors through durable infrastructure.
I'm pleased to say that a lot of development is taking place at the moment, although there are still some areas that need development. But generally speaking, the education system is well catered for because of the schools that have been constructed and the housing that has been also implemented in the area. Although there is still room for constructing another 65 houses. It's important that government comes up with a dam which can provide the people here with irrigation water, and then they can start doing some irrigation in the area.
Beneficiaries at Runyararo expressed gratitude for the government intervention, saying the new facilities have restored hope after years of hardship.
Tinotenda hurumende yedu yeZimbabwe. Baba Mnangagwa tinoona ane moyo chaiwo wevanhu. Anoramba akatiteerera pese pese vana vangu vaya vari papi izvozvi chinhu chiri kuatambudza. Tinobonga yaamho.
Patakabva kuChimanimani chokwadi takanga tisina tariro yeupenyu nekuti takabva tisina kana chinhu, tisina chatakanga takasara nacho pacyclone. Asi tinotenda hurumende, takavakirwa dzimba shuwa takasvika tichipindawo mudzimba tikawanawo pekugara.
Takabva kuChimanimani tichiuya kugariswa munzvimbo ino yeRunyararo. Pakutanga yaitiremera nekuti mvura taidziwana kure, zvikoro vana vedu vaienda kure, asi nekuda kuburikidza nehurumende yakatibatsira tikawanawo mvura padhuze.
The Runyararo settlement was established to resettle families displaced from disaster high-risk zones, integrating clean water systems, healthcare and education within the community. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Chimanimani.
Churches are being challenged to play a greater role in supporting the reintegrations of Zimbabweans returning home in a bid to strengthen social cohesion, rebuild family structures and promote inclusive national development.
Government continues to place people at the center of national development, with faith-based organizations continuing to complement efforts to promote social inclusion, unity, and sustainable livelihoods. It is within this framework that Colonel Miniyotabo Valoi Chiwenga called on churches to become active partners in assisting returnees as they rebuild their lives and contribute to national development. She told guests at a fundraising dinner for the Reformed Church in Zimbabwe in Bulawayo this Friday that churches provide spiritual guidance, emotional support, and practical assistance that help returning citizens reconnect with their communities and participate meaningfully in the country's socio-economic transformation.
The church has to play a leading role in making sure that they are okay spiritually and physically. There are some churches that can even give jobs to those people that are returning. So we see the church playing a bigger role in what is happening.
Colonel Valoi Chiwenga also commended the Reformed Church in Zimbabwe for its contribution to community development and stressed the importance of recognizing the practical skills many returning Zimbabweans possess.
Look at the people that are coming, document them, and look at what they have and what they were doing in South Africa and what we can harness from what they were doing. You see that there were people that were doing some jobs where they don't have certification, but they are good with their hands. If we give them the chance, they can prove and they can contribute to our economy, to our society. So we really have to do a holistic approach to accommodating them in our society.
Church leaders said the fundraising dinner was held to mobilize resources for projects aimed at expanding the church's outreach programs, including support for vulnerable families, youth development, and community welfare initiatives.
Today we are talking about buying a church stand, but it isn't just about land or a place to meet. This stand is an altar. It's where people will come broken and leave healed.
As Zimbabwe pursues its Vision 2030 development agenda, churches continue to be recognized as key partners in promoting social cohesion, supporting vulnerable communities, and assisting reintegration of returning citizens. Mhlomuli Ncube, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Now, viewers are advised that all ZBC television content and radio stations are now available on our new OTT platform, that is Z+. So all you need to do is download the Z+ app today from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store and stay connected wherever you are.
Well, another reminder, stories featured in this bulletin and more are available on our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw, and you can also link up with us on various social media platforms. We are ZBC News Online. And here are stories still to come in this bulletin. Zimbabwe's exports to Zambia hit over 70 million United States dollars. And Moors hold Scotland in an exciting PSL match at Rufaro Stadium. That and more in sport. We'll be back shortly with more news right after this break.
Join us for the Midlands Business Exhibition Show from the 13th to the 16th of August, themed Value Addition, the key to competitiveness. Farmers, don't miss out. Our guest of honor is the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Anxious Masuka. The business conference is on the 14th of August and will feature the prominent businessman Mr. Tagwirei to boost corporate growth. Bring the family for kids' playgrounds, plus enjoy live performances on Saturday and Sunday from Takura, Nashizim, Enzo Aishal, Nyasha David, and local artists. Be there.
Welcome to National Cranes and Equipment.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching the news at 8. When Zimbabwe commemorates Heroes Day this month, it is an opportunity to reflect on economic empowerment milestones in fulfillment of the aspirations of those who sacrificed their lives for black majority rule. Our business editor Stanley James unpacks how economic emancipation is gratifying the aspirations of the freedom fighters.
The liberation struggle was not only about fighting the colonial rule, but also ensuring that the black majority have access to the national economic cake. Such aspirations by the national heroes have resulted in several local entrepreneurs emerging into the mainstream sectors of the economy that always used to be in the ownership of the white minority.
Ukuthuthuka kwelizwe kwenze ngokuthi amakhawe asilwela wakhulula ilizwe sebekhulula ilizwe sokwenza ukuthi thina sikwanise ukuthi silathi sibe lama company sibe labasebenzi kade kungasokwenhlabathi kuphela but kwakuyi ukukhulula ukuthi sikwanise ukuthi sizenzele lathi izinto elizibona sizenza khonapho.
Ini semwana wakaberekwa mnyika yakanaka kudai ine vakuru vakasacrifice magamba edu vakasacrifice kuinda kuhondo kunotirwira kuti tione kuzvitonga kuzere kunovakwa tipamukana muno muSecond Republic kuti tinge tichivhura makambani nekuti empowerment yakaudzwa through sacrifice yakaitwa nemagamba edu munguva yehondo saka naizvozvo ndozvitenda because mikana yakabva yauya.
If it weren't for our heroes who created this environment, the economic freedom that we enjoy today, we would not be here and doing business freely in an environment where our people are experiencing, higher standards of living. Otherwise, we would have been in the doldrums as we were in the past.
As official data shows that local entrepreneurs are contributing over 60% of Zimbabwe's yearly economic output, President Emmerson Mnangagwa recently revealed government's commitment towards fulfilling the aspirations of the national heroes and heroines.
We are strengthening industry financing mechanisms, improving the investment climate, and mobilizing domestic as well as international capital to bolster the productive sectors of the economy. The shared National Vision 2030, rich natural resources endowments, strategic geographic position, resilient infrastructure give our country a favorable variables. Additionally, skilled and entrepreneurial citizens, coupled with strong partnerships and efficient enterprises.
These micro, small and medium enterprises have become the backbone of Zimbabwe's economy as the aspirations of the heroes and heroines on total economic emancipation are being fulfilled. Stanley James, ZBC News, Harare.
Government will continue to work with local communities in the construction of school infrastructure as part of efforts to improve the learning environment.
The commissioning of 2 new classroom blocks and an ablution facility at St. Alois Chidau Primary School in Goromonzi District, Mashonaland East Province this Friday confirmed that the inclusive development agenda is in motion.
Kubatsirwa kwataita kuti tave ne2 new classroom blocks ane 4 rooms.
Tiri kutenda kune mhuri iyi tichitenda zvakare chikoro chinechi chikuita chikuburitsa vana vakanaka kuti ezvinezvi tasingakwanisa kubhadhira mafees aya but nenyaya yekuti takaendeswa kuchikoro uku takushandawo nesimba.
Kune imba yematicha iriko kupedzisira uko yakavakwa namai Kaukau zvakatifadza nekuti varairidzi vedu vanga vasina pekugara.
Dr. Clemens Chidziva, a former student at the school, spoke on his passion for development while the community leadership is equally excited.
We are very happy today that we are finally, after 10 years of hard work with the community, commissioning 2 of the blocks that we completed.
Development yamuri kuona iri pano apa development inodadiswa yaitwa na Dr. Chidziva ndo zviri kutaurwa na president kuti hapana munhu anofanira kusarira mashure uye hapana nzvimbo inosarira mashure.
Government is upbeat on its achievements in the education sector.
Our objective extends beyond constructing additional classrooms. It is to establish modern, inclusive, and technology-enabled learning environments that produce globally competitive citizens firmly grounded in our national heritage and values. One of the defining characteristics of the Second Republic has been its unwavering commitment to promoting public-private partnerships as a sustainable mechanism for accelerating socio-economic development.
Government is working towards the construction of more schools to address the teacher-student ratio for the realization of the education goals under the National Development Strategy NDS2. Tafadzgwach Gwedere, ZBC News, Goromonzi.
Private players are increasingly complementing government efforts to equip Zimbabwean youth with digital skills. This comes after the commissioning of an innovation hub in Lupane district of Matabeleland North Province this Friday.
Located in Gwai, the innovation hub was established through a partnership between Uncommon and Pended Dog Conservation. To date, 35 young people from the surrounding community have been enrolled at the center.
We have created a space where young people will gain digital skills, unlock new opportunities, and become innovators. As our HE has always said, who will contribute meaningfully to the future of their communities.
The Innovation Hub is also expected to strengthen conservation efforts by creating alternative sustainable livelihood opportunities for surrounding communities.
This district lies within one of Zimbabwe's most significant wildlife landscape. While blessed with natural resources, communities here continue to face challenges. These challenges have often placed pressure on our natural resources.
As Zimbabwe advances the objectives of the National Development Strategy 2 in its drive towards Vision 2030, digital transformation, innovation and skills development remain central pillars in building an upper middle income economy. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Lupane.
The government has reaffirmed its commitment to creating an enabling environment for artificial intelligence innovation following the launch of the AI for Impact Challenge in Nyanga. The initiative is designed to identify, nurture, and accelerate homegrown AI solutions that address Zimbabwe's development priorities.
60 participants, including students, entrepreneurs, researchers, software developers, and innovators from across Zimbabwe, took part in the AI for Impact Challenge. The competition aims to identify promising artificial intelligence solutions and support their growth through mentorship, technical guidance, and industry partnerships. Participants said the challenge allowed them to refine their ideas with the support of experienced mentors while developing solutions capable of addressing real-world challenges.
We're trying to collect a data set of our own languages in voice mode. That is, we give, the general populace of Zimbabwe a prompt, a sentence, be it in Shona or Ndebele, and then we ask them to read that sentence out loud. That way, we are building a data set.
We've developed a real estate data set, which we've named the Zimbabwe Residential Real Estate Intelligence Data Set. What this data set is supposed to help is provide intelligence to solve with our real estate issues.
The most promising innovations will now advance to the next stage of mentorship, testing, and commercialization through partnerships with local and international technology organizations such as the International Telecommunication Union's AI and Machine Learning Sandbox Hub.
Artificial intelligence is beginning to change that by placing extraordinary knowledge into ordinary hands, giving more people than ever before the opportunity to solve problems, innovate, and create value.
The challenge also marks an important step in implementing Zimbabwe's national artificial intelligence strategy by encouraging innovators to develop practical solutions to national development challenges.
Allow me to applaud His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, for his steadfast and unwavering promotion of artificial intelligence as we journey towards Vision 2030. We are all convinced beyond any doubt that AI is the only and rightful way to go in this technological era.
Launching the initiative, the Minister of Information, Communication, Technology, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Tatenda Mavetera, said government will work with POTRAS, the Zimbabwe Center for High Performance Computing, and other ministries to identify high potential innovations for pilot implementation.
Our government needs to continue engaging development partners, financial institutions, and the private sector to establish sustainable financing mechanisms that support artificial intelligence innovators from proof of concept to commercialization.
Zimbabwe's National Artificial Intelligence Strategy 2026 to 2030, together with the accompanying AI policy framework, is designed to harness emerging technologies to drive innovation, enhance public service delivery, and support the country's goal of attaining upper middle income status by 2030. Gaima Tambo, ZBC News, Nyanga.
A total of 165 rangers graduated from the basic ranger training course at Chinoi Caves Recreational Park this Friday, coinciding with Zimbabwe's commemoration of World Ranger Day. A Wildlife Ambassador and First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa called on the private sector to partner with government to strengthen wildlife conservation efforts and safeguard the country's natural heritage.
The graduation ceremony coincided with this year's World Ranger Day commemorations, held under the theme Rangers, Guardians of a Changing Planet. Representing the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, the Minister of Environment, Climate and Wildlife, Honorable Evelyn Lovo, said effective conservation requires a collective effort by the government, communities, development partners and the private sector. She added that integrating indigenous knowledge with modern science is vital to protecting Zimbabwe's wildlife and natural heritage.
As Wildlife Ambassador, I have always believed that successful conservation must rest with 5 important pillars. The first is conservation inclusivity. No conservation effort can succeed without the meaningful participation of communities. The people who live alongside are not spectators in conservation. They are its custodians and beneficiaries. We must therefore continue to strengthen community-based natural resource management programs. A pillar is what I call knowledge weaving, where indigenous knowledge systems and modern conservation science are brought together to create stronger and more effective conservation solutions. Our ancestors understood nature. They protected sacred forests, respected wildlife, and lived in harmony with their environment. Today, modern science offers us additional tools such as satellite technology, the drones, artificial intelligence, and advanced ecological monitoring.
The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution for Mashonaland West, Honorable Marian Chombo, said the province plays a significant role in supporting tourism and economic growth through its rich biodiversity and forests as well as wildlife.
Mashonaland West Province inodada nekugamuchira mhemberero dzegore rino pano paChinoi Caves Recreational Park, imwe yenzvimbo dzinokosha pakushanya munyika, ine kukosha kukuru panyaya dzezvakatipoteredza, nhoroondo pamwe chete netsika nemagariro. Dunhu redu rakapfuma nezviwanikwa nezvisikirwa uye zvipenyu zvakasiyana siyana zvinobatsira mukusimudzira kushanya upfumi hwenyika uye mararamiro evanhu.
Zimbabwe Parks and Wildlife Management Authority Board Chairperson Dr. Agrippa Sora highlighted that ranger training encompasses more than physical endurance and conservation skills.
The ZimParks board, we also made sure that as they are trained, we also involve our chaplaincy to make sure that they counsel our rangers so that they understand the dangers of drugs, amongst other things like a general discipline where we expect them to look after our parks estate. They must also look after themselves.
The new rangers described the 3-month training program as demanding but rewarding, saying it strengthened their commitment to protecting Zimbabwe's ecosystem.
Training yedu yanga 3 months. Yairwadza asi takashingirira. Chakachandipa shungu inyaya yekuti ndakakura ndichingozviti inini tofanira kushandira nemhuka. Chikonzero chaindipa kudaro. Tagara nemhuka tichienda kuchikoro tichitombopfurana nemhuka dzikapfura isitopfurawo tichienda kuchikoro. Nangoti ndinongoshuvira kuti ndikawana kuparks nemhuka dzendajara kushanda nadzo hazvizondinetsa.
Ndiri kunzwa kufara singaite nokupedza kwataita training yedu yanga yakaomesesa kozi kwatakabva kwanga kwakaoma. Munongoonawo vechidiki vakati one day takashingirira mune zvese zvanga zvakaoma, maphysical assessment ataita, asi takakwanisa kukunda kusvika muzuva ranhasi ratakwanisa kupedza training yedu.
One of the parents at the graduation ceremony paid tribute to the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, for her commitment to protecting wildlife.
Wakufara zvikurusa nemashoko ataurwa na First Lady yekuti vana vedu vagraduate zuva ranhasi vagokwanisa zvakare kuti vachengetedze mhuka, nesuwo vanhu vemunharaunda tofanirwa kubetseredza kuti mhuka idzodzo dzisaurawa, mhuka idzodzo dzizoonekwa nemageneration anoteera amangwana. Ndo zvatakatarisira izvozvo, kwete kuti dzikaparara vana havazoziva kuti chinonzi shumba chii.
Speakers at the event stressed that protecting Zimbabwe's natural heritage cannot be achieved by government alone. They called for stronger partnerships among communities, the private sector and conservation organizations, as well as research institutions and development partners, to ensure that the country's wildlife and ecosystems are preserved for generations to come.
In other news, a new Pan-African organization aimed at strengthening corporate governance has been launched in Harare, with its founders saying it will promote ethical leadership, accountable institutions, and sustainable economic growth across the continent.
Secretary for the Corporate Governance Unit in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Mr. Allen Chiruma, says strong corporate governance is closely linked to improved organizational performance and national development. He made the remarks during the launch of the Society of Directors Africa in Harare on Friday evening. Mr. Chiruma urged the public and private institutions to embrace sound governance principles as a foundation for sustainable growth.
Research shows that there's a positive correlation between good corporate governance and national development outcomes. A lot of research has been carried out on this subject, and a positive correlation has been established to that effect. Research also shows that there is a positive correlation between good corporate governance and the performance of a company. So corporate governance becomes very pivotal.
Speakers at the launch said the new organization will provide a platform for directors, executives, and governance professionals across Africa to exchange knowledge, strengthen leadership, and promote ethical decision-making.
Beyond governance, there is much more that we need to do for us to have those businesses succeed. We need to go beyond compliance. We need to create a culture of integrity. And this Society of Directors will give you that platform to interact in Africa.
I believe the Society of Directors Africa can become a truly continental institution, strengthening governance, developing ethical leadership, and supporting resilient organizations across Africa. The responsibility entrusted to this council is clear: to safeguard the vision, ensure fidelity to the founding purpose, and provide wise stewardship as the society grows in influence and impact.
The Society of Directors Africa is a non-profit organization established to advance corporate governance, board leadership, executive development, ethical conduct, and sustainable growth across Africa. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's take a break. We'll be back shortly with business news.
Zimbabwe's biggest agricultural and business showcase is back. From 24 to 29 August, experience ZAS 2026, powering growth, where agriculture, technology, and commerce converge as Zimbabwe celebrates innovation, investment, and enterprise. Make sure your brand is seen, heard, and remembered. Advertise with ZBC and enjoy unbeatable exposure across television, radio, digital, and social media. Reach every province, reach every market, reach Zimbabwe. Book your ZAS campaign today. Contact Mildred 0712 831 177 or Thelma 0776 413 261. Email marketing@zbc.co.zw. ZBC, Zimbabwe's #1 broadcast partner.
Thank you for staying with us. Zimbabwe's exports to Zambia have continued to grow, reaching more than 57 million United States dollars during the same period last year. The increase has been driven by rising demand for locally manufactured goods.
There is increased demand for locally produced goods as the domestic industry reaps the benefits of industrialization. Local exhibitors at the Zimbabwean pavilion here have expressed confidence towards increasing their market share within the northern neighboring economy.
We're here to showcase our value-added products, NutriActive cereals range, as well as our pasta portfolio, which are made from local maize and local wheat, therefore adding to the value chain. Through Zimtrade partnership, we're looking for opportunities to export into Zambia and into the Southern African region at large.
We are happy that we are getting more farmers coming through to understand our services, which is basically crop monitoring using satellite imagery through our parcella crop monitoring system. So we are happy because many farmers, they are coming through, and we are hoping to expand the business in Zambia. We are already there offering mapping services, but now want to do crop monitoring services using parcella crop monitoring using AI and satellite imagery. So we're happy Zambia is absorbing the technology.
According to Zimtrade board member Mr. Andrew Mugandiwa, the growth in export earnings reflects strengthening bilateral trade ties between Zimbabwe and Zambia.
The exports are growing because of the deliberate policy of our government to grow our exports. The companies which are exhibiting here are testimony as to the efforts in growing our exports. Not only are we promoting exports from the well-established companies, we are also promoting exports from women and youth-led businesses.
Zimbabwe and Zambia have also agreed to remove barriers on trade, consolidating existing cordial relations between the two countries. Stanley James, ZBC News, Lusaka.
From the world of business to the arts, where Zimbabwe and several Asian nations are strengthening the long-standing ties through cultural exchange with a festival aimed at deepening people-to-people relations and creating new opportunities in tourism, education, trade, as well as investment.
The Asian Culture Festival brought together the embassies of China, India, Japan, Indonesia,
Pakistan, the Republic of Korea and Malaysia, creating a platform where diplomacy extends beyond boardrooms into cultural engagement. Through traditional music and dance, cuisine, film exhibitions and networking, the festival celebrates cultural diversity while strengthening cooperation between Zimbabwe and its Asian partners.
This time we have collaborated our efforts so that we can show that there is a kind of history behind the relations of whole of Asia with whole of Africa. And we hope that this will further enhance our people-to-people connect.
The purpose of this event is not just introducing our cultures to local Zimbabwe. It's equally important. We also do equally feel it's important to let your culture be known more to our countries.
All our 7 countries actually have very good relations with Zimbabwe. As the president always says that Zimbabwe is a country friends to all, enemy to none. I think it's very important that we promote this kind of culture understanding between China and also not only limited to China, also with some other Asian countries.
Organizers say the festival also promotes Zimbabwe as a destination for tourism, education, trade and investment.
Zimbabwe's relations with Asia is anchored in deep solidarity, mutual respect and a shared commitment to self-determination and sustainable development. South-South cooperation continues to flourish, spanning transformative infrastructure development, agriculture, innovation, and food security initiatives. Today, we celebrate our diplomatic bonds and collective dedication to an inclusive, prosperous global family.
Officials say initiatives such as the festival demonstrate how cultural diplomacy can strengthen international relations, foster mutual understanding and support sustainable development. Louis Nika, ZBC News, Harare.
Let's now take a look at sport. Scotland and Moors renewed their growing Casalaga Premier Soccer League rivalry in a blockbuster encounter at Rufaro Stadium this Saturday. Despite an entertaining contest, the two sides settled for a goalless draw.
The team's kickoff standing.
The build-up to the match had been relatively subdued, but once the whistle blew, the intensity that has defined this fixture over the past 2 seasons quickly resurfaced. The contest had everything from crunching tackles and flowing football to contentious decisions and moments of drama, but neither side could find the breakthrough. Their rivalry dates back to their days in Division 1 before both clubs earned promotion to the top flight, with their meetings becoming some of the most anticipated fixtures on the domestic calendar. Although Scotland have maintained their impressive form this season, while Moors have struggled for consistency, there was little to separate the two teams on the day. Moors nearly made the perfect start, but goalkeeper Nelson Chajka produced a fine early save to deny the visitors. Scotland dominated much of the first half, but failed to convert their opportunities, while Moors created the clear openings after the break, only to squander their chances in front of goal. Both coaches were satisfied with the sharing of the spoils.
Well done to Moors. I think they did very well. And coming to our part, we had those half chances. We have those half chances, and when games are like this, difficult like this, we don't create clear-cut chances. If we create those clear-cut chances, make sure we bury them. But at the end of the day, it's a point, we take it.
It's never easy, and more so when you're playing against the defending champions, and Myanmar plays approach to side. It's never easy, but I would want to applaud my youngsters for a sterling job. And I want to believe with a little bit of luck, we probably utilized the chances that came our way. We could have crossed the finishing line, but we take the point home.
Elsewhere, second-placed Hard Rock took a full advantage of Scotland's slip-up by thrashing Manica Diamonds 3-0 at Chawanda Stadium to move within 2 points over the league leaders. Dynamos were held to a goalless draw away to ZPC Kariba, where Gama suffered a 1-0 defeat to Ngezi Platinum Stars as Blair Chiefs claimed a 2-1 victory over Chicken Inn at Luveve Stadium. Triangle's survival hopes suffered another setback after a 1-0 home loss to FC Hunters, while FC Platinum and Simba Bora played out to a 1-0 draw at Mandava Stadium. Attention now shifts to Sunday's headline fixture as Cape United host Highlanders in the Battle of the Cities at Rufaro Stadium. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwe's top amateur golfer Keegan Schacht produced a superb third-round performance to move within one shot of the lead at the Zimbabwe Amateur Championship at Chapman Golf Club this Saturday.
Shat accorded a 4-under par 68 at the lowest round among the leading contenders to climb into second place on an overall score of 7 over, just one stroke behind Zambia stallion Adaka, who leads the championship on 6 over, heading into Sunday's final round. The Zimbabwean was clinical throughout the day, recovering from opening rounds of 78 and 77 with a composed display that has put him firmly in contention for the title and a place in next year's 2027 Zimbabwean Open Championship, with the winner earning an automatic qualification spot. Adaka maintained his place at the summit with a third round 75, but his slender advantage means Sunday's final round is set for a tense finish. The chasing pack also remains firmly in contention, with Nathaniel Zijka and Bruce Pritchard tied for third on 8 over, just a shot behind Shat, while Mnashe Chimini sits fifth on 9 over, keeping the race for the championship wide open. With only 3 shots separating the top 5 players, all eyes will be on Chapin Golf Club as Zimbabwean Amateur Championship reaches its climax on Sunday, with both the title and a coveted place at the 2027 Zim Open Championship up for grabs. Lawrence Roseda, CBC News, Harare.
And that report concluding sport, it's now time for the weather report and forecast.
What a windy day indeed, especially to the eastern parts of the country, into Bulawayo, which had briefly cloudy periods in the morning, but that cloud soon burned off, especially towards evening. Elsewhere, it was mild daytime conditions under clear skies, and towards evening, those temperatures turned cold all around the country, especially over the main watershed, and those clear skies expected to increase chances of ground frost for tomorrow. And for afternoon, it should be mild temperatures countrywide, especially in areas along the Zambezi Valley, which should be a bit warmer in Victoria Falls, Kariba, and to the south in Shirezi as well. As we get into our detailed forecast, in Bulawayo, it should be quite cold in the morning with a minimum of 6 degrees Celsius, warming up to about 24. In Matobo, a similar situation with plenty of sun in the afternoon, but some early morning ground frost expected. And in Gwanda as well, some ground frost with a minimum of 7 degrees Celsius, and those winds keeping our maximum temperatures in the low 20s. In Mashingo, it should be warmer as we get into the week, but for tomorrow, our maximum should be 23 degrees Celsius. And in Gweru, quite cold in the morning with a minimum of 6, though heating up to about 24 by afternoon. Getting warmer as we get into Wednesday. In Mutare, it should be mild temperatures up until Tuesday and much warmer by Wednesday. In Nyanga, as the winter saga rages on, it should be a minimum temperature of 2 degrees Celsius and not much better in the afternoon with a maximum of 19, though we are expecting those temperatures to increase as we get into next weekend. And in Marondera, it should be mild daytime temperatures throughout the week, but quite cold in the morning, especially for tomorrow with a minimum of 4 degrees Celsius. Though in Harare, it should be plenty of sun and mild daytime conditions with a minimum of 7 for tomorrow. In Kwekwe, our temperatures should start to increase, especially on Monday with a maximum of 27, though for tomorrow it's 25. And in Kadoma, it should be mild daytime conditions and sunny weather. Chinhoyi as well with a maximum of 26 for tomorrow. In Lupane, it should be warm for much of the forecast period, but for tomorrow it's a maximum of 26. In Bindura, we have those sunny conditions as well, though a cold start to the day with a minimum of 7 for tomorrow. Victoria Falls, warm throughout the forecast period, and in Kariba as well, though it shouldn't be too cold in the morning. This has been your weather report and forecast. Thank you for tuning in.
And that does it for tonight's bulletin. Thank you for giving us your time. From all of us here, good night.
Good night.